this is Ashley. Welcome to my channel, Side of the Soul. I'm an empath and I will be imparting messages to you that I hear from meditations. I sincerely hope that these messages speak to you, to your inner truth, and help to provide needed guidance. And now, guys, we have the options 1, 2, and 3. You can pick one of the options that speaks the most to you. Take your time and let the right option for you come to mind, and then you can pause the video if you need to. When you're ready, you can click the timestamp in the description below for your option. Okay, group number 1, these are the messages that the angels wanted you to hear. The first card is the Thunder card. So, what I've heard is that there have been a lot of shakeups or circumstances that have been perceived as not the best that have been happening. Maybe even what you may feel like what is not best serving you, or what, in terms of how I would say it, situations that I feel are not best serving me, for example. But don't worry, this is just the Thunder card. It's not like lightning. There have been no strikes. And just because there are minor shakeups and worries doesn't mean that it will lead to negativity. And when I think of negativity, I think of that in terms of what's not best serving me, what's not giving me any kind of benefit, what's not bringing me through the situation in a way that I would desire. But, if there's fear, don't become engulfed in that fear. Don't succumb to that fear to where you become paralyzed and you cannot act in a way, that would be best in order to help you get through your situation. I like to think of it as, I'm carrying my fear with me as I'm going through whatever it is I'm going through. And I like to think of that fear like it's a balloon in my pocket. It's not weighing me down. I'm carrying it around. I'm still staying light. I'm still doing what I need to be doing, still being productive to get through what I perceive as probably a very stressful situation, rather than thinking of that fear in my pocket like an anchor, like it's, causing me to drown. Not to say that anchors cause ships to drown, but, if there's a hole in the ship and the ship is sinking, that anchor is going to cause that ship to sink, cause you to drown. So don't become engulfed in that. And we'll be going to move on to the next card. And then the next card in this deck is the Drum. Okay, so what I've heard is that there's something that's being neglected, something not being included, maybe something that's not being considered the way it's supposed to be considered. Basically what I've heard is or what came to me is that the tap, so to speak, like the tap of a call to attention was not heard. So then that next step up, that next level of how to get attention was the drum, the sounding of the drum. And the drum was sounded for the call to attention, and it will continue until it's done. So for example, you might have heard the saying where, you get maybe a tap or a light whisper or a light scratch, and then it moves to the tap and then moves to the drum, or any kind of similar saying such as that, because something is supposed to be, you're supposed to be taking something in or taking notice of something, and the universe is trying to find a way to bring it to you, and it has different ways in succession of how it would like to bring it to you until you finally acknowledge it and, go and move through with whatever it is you're supposed to acknowledge, or to make any kind of decisions that you're supposed to make in terms of what that call to attention was about. So basically, the drum is in your deck because the drum was sounded for the call of attention, and it will continue until whatever you need to do is done, or whatever that step needs to be done, or whatever situation needs to be handled in whatever way resonates with your situation. Okay, and next we have the next card in the deck, Simplicity. All right, so with this card, strip away the complexities, bring it down to the basics. I've heard that, basically by doing so, by lightening your load, there's joy in that lightness. There's beauty in the lack of worry. As far as the joy and the lightness, that saying of, feeling a weight lifted and how much better you feel when that weight is then lifted off of you, or beauty in the lack of worry. It's, we often hear people say how they think it's so beautiful, how they feel like, children have nothing to worry about, in that stage of development and a typical healthy, balanced living situation. Children, don't have very much to worry about. They're able to go about their lives with lack of worry, and seeing that, witnessing that, that is a beautiful thing. That is, to me, a kind of beauty. So there is a beauty in that lack of worry, but unfortunately, as we grow and develop into adults, we are forced to believe that we have to let that go, that we have to bring certain worries in, and then, the beauty of not having to worry about certain things, it strips away, it falls away, it fades away. And maybe only a few individuals then find that trick of how to maintain that, once they've reached a more adult level of maturity. So what I heard was, do as you see in nature. In nature, what do you see? Just at face value. You see simplicity. But if you look on a deeper level, what you perceive as simplicity is actually a lot of connected, intricate complexities of instinct and evolution, and just it's astounding how masterful that truly is. So on the surface, it's simple, but then it is actually complex. So display and live in the simplicities of complexities. So trust and let go of what's not needed. Strip away the complexities, strip away the complications. Okay, so as far as, bringing together all these different meanings together, I've heard that the time has come to be completely, unabashedly authentic to your soul. You have been feeling these inklings toward this, but you've been ignoring them. No more. There's no time to waste. This is your soul's expression to you. Once you do, a new light will enter your life, and you won't be able to cast it aside. And that's all for this reading for you, Group 1. Thank you, and I hope you heard what is going to be helpful to you. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Group 2. These are the messages that the angels wanted you to hear. We're going to start with the beloved. So I heard that, anything really can be a beloved, a friend, a lover, a pet. But the main overall message that I was hearing is actually, don't let the label deter you from what could have been beautiful. So, however way that may resonate with you. For those of you who have a beloved person in your life, and I think there's someone who needs to hear this, just remember, just keep in mind, you are experiencing them. You are experiencing your relationship to their soul. When I think about the word relationship, I break it down into two words, relation and ship. So when you're interacting with anyone, and in this case, a beloved, relationship is a word that comes about because you are acting in relation to this other soul. You are experiencing yourself relative to this other soul, your beloved. So remember that you're experiencing them, but you're not owning them. And remember, they can sense and they can feel this, and sometimes that can have certain effects on people as well. Okay, and then the next card that I've got here, group number 2, is the water card. Okay, What I heard with water is that, water can have a bit of a duality. It can nourish, it can create new paths, it can support life, or it can drown, cause to topple over or crush. So, as far as how this may resonate with your situation, whatever it is that you're going through, make the choice according to your situation. So you can either act on the side of one side of how water can be or the other. Whatever, I would say, do whatever best serves your situation, whatever best serves your spirit and your soul. And you have permission to make that choice now. And then the last card that we have for you, group number 2, is the New Beginnings card. So what I heard is that, every breath in your body is worth celebrating. And you can celebrate that further by taking an unknown step. A new chapter in life may seem intimidating, scary even, but it's okay to embrace it and let it in. I found that the times where I was the most afraid was when I was experiencing the most growth. The times where I was experiencing the most discomfort, even the most humiliation, I can remember that very vividly even now. I was actually excelling much higher. I was leveling up in my life. No matter how uncomfortable or even how sad or depressed I've had at certain periods in my life, it was something was always getting better, and I was taking a chance each time. I didn't know every single step or every single effect of the causes that I was having at the beginning, how they were going to be later. I just was taking a leap of faith and I was trusting. So celebrate having that spontaneity of, or having that feeling of, what, I can take this unknown step. It's worth celebrating what I believe it could bring to me. So this new chapter could be a positive one, or one that best serves you. And even though it's intimidating or scary, maybe it's just intimidating or scary because, we've been trained quite heavily subconsciously, or, subliminally, I should say, that we need to have control over every little step in our lives, that we just don't rest in each moment, let each moment come, and instead of, reacting to it, which is what we've been trained to do, we could be proactive in those moments, choose how we decide to perceive those moments. So that's what I mean, is that you can embrace whatever's coming from bringing in this new chapter, this new unknown step. Just let it in. Okay, group 2, the overall message that I heard for you, or how I would, put all of these together into a message that is more cohesive, is that I heard that your spirit should be your beloved. Let spirit be what carves that new path for you, for a new phase in your life. Just like how you would think, if you had a beloved person, oh, I wonder what they're thinking, I wonder what they're desiring. Have you ever thought to do that for your spirit? Have you ever felt like you felt really out of touch with your spirit, your soul, whatever word you want to use? Have you ever thought about, well, what does my spirit think about this? What does my spirit think about that? What would my spirit do in this situation? Have you ever felt like you just have not been able to really be silent and really get in touch with what your spirit would do? And then, to take it a step further, let's say you have done that. How has it worked out? I could imagine that it's probably always worked best for you, even if it didn't feel like it at first, even if you did follow your soul, you did something in terms of what your soul did, and maybe something uncomfortable happened. But hindsight's 2020. If you look back, it worked out, didn't it? Okay, so just let your spirit be your beloved. And that's all that I heard for you today, Group 2. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi, Group 3. All right, so this is your reading. These are the messages that the angels wanted you to hear. So the card that we're starting with is the Magic card. Okay, so what I heard is that Something is being judged to be seen as wrong, but that's not the case. Magic, the subject of magic, if it's believed, it can be a polarizing topic. Some believe magic is negative, while others believe it's positive, for lack of, better terms. But nonetheless, it is judged, sometimes without knowing all of the information about it. So I would say, while judgments are natural, it's natural to judge. It's kind of hard to not do it. We've kind of been preconditioned to do it. We've been, this is how we've learned and developed as people and how we perceive others. Okay. But what it may mean by wrong is, maybe without knowing all the information, it's hard to make that educated decision about how to judge or perceive that information. And the next card, group number 3, is soul retrieval. We carry our souls, that's what I heard. We carry our souls around with us like a companion. And sometimes we feel that we have lost our companion or soul, or maybe that there's a distance that has grown between you and your companion or your soul. But you'll find your companion again, or that distance will be shortened. Some people may feel like maybe some paths in life that they took made them feel like they were becoming less and less in tune with their soul. Maybe something happened to a person and they feel like a part of their soul was stripped away. Maybe a part of their soul was, tainted, for lack of a better term, or maybe that could be how they feel. Many different things could have happened for a person to feel like they no longer feel in touch with the language of their soul and what their soul would want them to know as they move about their life. But what I heard is that what you need to know is that the pain from that separation will be mended. Okay, so this next card for you, group number 3, is forgiveness. Okay. All right, so for this one, what I'm heard is this is about presence. It's not so much about the word forgiveness. When I think of forgiveness, forgiveness forces you to live in the now. When you haven't forgiven, for example, you're actually living in the past or what is perceived as such. You're stuck in an old moment. And some of you may feel this way as well. The past and the future are constructs. There were constructs that were made at some moment before you, by someone before you, Think about it. No one actually knows what a second or a month or a day or a year are because these things, these connotations, these terms, these labels are not inherently real. And what I mean by inherently real is that they are not natural. Think of it this way. What's natural to the human form? A skeleton, whatever form that may take, right? So there was no coming to this earth or coming to these physical forms just automatically knowing what a month, a second, a day, and a year are. Think about leap year, or think about how many weeks are in a month, how many days are in a month. Why are there 28 days in February? Why are there 30 days in one month, 31 days in another? Think of all these different ways there have been changes in what is considered, weeks and days and certain types of things like leap year and what I've just said in different cultures. Why do you think there are differences? They are constructs, that doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them negative. It's just simply what is. So these constructs have nothing to do with you. We just live by them. So I heard be in the right now. And I think someone needs to hear that, with that lack of overexertion into the next moment or for the next moment, By being in the here right now, peace and the calm will settle over you. Let it wash over you. And in doing so, in turn, your mental and physical well-being will improve. And so what I'm hearing as far as, all these cards are concerned is be open to the fact that life will not be the same. You must prepare for it. There will be signs that will show you the preparations to be made, and you will know when you see them, like you will be sure when you see them. So when you get them, follow them immediately. And I heard immediately. I didn't hear follow them when you have time, follow them when you make time. I heard follow them immediately. Okay, so that's all the messages that I heard for you, Group 3. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you heard what you needed to guide your soul for whenever you needed to hear this message. Take care. Bye-bye.